Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cohenversations number 23. Oh, 23 of these. Can you believe it? Anyway, today is Thursday, April 16th, if anyone's keeping track. And I'm actually answering two questions today. I think they are both sort of go together. And it may not be evident, but the more I thought about these, the more I realized how much they go together. And not so much for the question itself, but for the question relating to the people who are asking the questions. Um, I really hope I'm on. There we go. Hi, Lorraine. I'm answering your question today, even though I may or may not really understand what you were asking. Um, anyway, the two questions were one from Lorraine Winslow, who is here right now. Can we forgive ourselves for being more of an audience than a beacon? Um, I assume that when you talk about beacon, Lorraine, you talk about someone like me, a loudmouth that feels the need to orate to the masses, um, and shine the light of truth out into the world. Um, the other question was from Erica Rueda, who is a very good friend of mine from work, when work was a thing. Um, she says, how do you find inspiration in uninspired situations or places? So, here is why I lump these two things together. The subject that I really want to address here is self-realization. How does that sound? Self-realization. Um, these questions came from two very inspiring women when I look at it. Lorraine is a wonderful actress. Um, she is incredibly funny. She is very giving. She is game for everything. Um, she constantly keeps audiences amused and entertained. So I find that a very, very interesting question coming from you, Lorraine. And Erica is one of the finest educators I've ever met, who is able to look at the simplest, most basic items and turn them into an incredible learning experience. So both of these people are asking about things that don't really apply to them. But I will answer your questions. I just want you to realize how much you actually do of what you're asking about. Erica, you find inspiration in a paper plate and an eraser. I've never seen anyone who can create things the way you do. Lorraine, you are entertaining, you are lovely, you are a delight to be around, and people can't take their eyes off of you. So you are indeed that beacon that you talk about. Now, having said all of that, here are some specific answers. First of all, for Erica's question, how do you find inspiration in uninspired situations and places? Well, now that we are locked down, now that our experiences are so much limited, we have no choice but to find inspiration in uninspired places or things. Ah, here's the other one. Yes. Hi, Erica. You just came in when I'm answering your question. You'll have to go back later and hear me yelling at you. Anyway, um, so It's essential to be inspired by uninspiring things. And I think when you really take the time to look at it, it is so easy to be inspired. When you have a limited number of things to experience, you start to notice the essentials of them and how important they are and how miraculous they are. So I was out in my backyard today on the phone and just kind of looking around me at the plants around me. And I realized exactly how lucky I am. I'm frustrated by a lot of little things that I'm having to deal with on a daily basis because of this entire uh, lockdown and unemployment and all of these other things. But when you stop and think about it, how lucky are we? And I'm talking about just us right now, because you are looking at me on some sort of device right now. You are connected to the internet right now. Um, that is an inspiring thing. We are unable to be in the same room, and yet we have found ways of being in the same room. It is an incredible thing. And that is inspiring. And the fact that there are people out there who are coming up with individual ways of connecting still is inspiring. And Erica, what you share when you share pictures of your children is inspiring. And that's coming from someone who doesn't like kids. So that's really inspiring. So, and Owen is here right now. He inspires me daily simply by sharing his voice and seeing how many people he is touching by singing and sharing his thoughts. Um, it, it's nearly impossible to not be inspired by the simplest, most boring things. I'm going to show you something. Talk about this. I wasn't going to do this, but this is what's left of a washcloth that my corgi Gemma got a hold of. Now, she has created humor out of a cleaning implement. That's inspiring. Look at this. They're all over. Trust me, they're all over. So if you look at things with a fresh eye, with a sense of humor, with the possibilities of what things may or may not become, it's impossible not to be inspired by the possibilities. So that's my answer to that question. And coincidentally, coming at the same time, can we forgive ourselves for being more of an audience than a beacon? You need, if you are indeed more of an audience than a beacon, you play one of the most important parts in society. As my friend Andrew von der Schmidt used to say on every opening night, thanking the people who were in the audience, he would say to them, without you, we're just doing another rehearsal. And trust me, for those of you who have been in plays before, if you rehearse too long, the energy gets sapped. You can only rehearse so long without getting that energy back from an audience. Without an audience, without somebody to talk to. Every day when I start this thing, I sit here in a panic, wondering if there will be anyone out there listening. Because once I stop talking to somebody, I stop having value in what I want to say. There has to be someone on the other end. So an audience is essential. But believe me, we all play both roles. You are always a beacon. You are always an audience. We trade off. I'm an audience 23 and a half hours a day. When I'm not thinking about doing this, um, I'm listening to other people. I'm watching other people. I'm applauding other people. I am being inspired by other people. And that's important. That is a far more important thing than me sitting here and talking to you. Anyone can sit here and talk to you, but you are giving me value by sitting there and listening. And anytime you are able to sit and listen or to sit and watch, you are an active participant. There is no such thing as a passive audience. You are always participating because you are exchanging energy. You are reacting. And that is an essential part of life. So those are my answers. Look at Von der Schmidt shows up after I mention his name. He's psychic. Anyway, those are my answers for you today. Thank you for being my audience. I cannot thank you enough. Um, I really look forward to doing these every day. Please continue to send me questions or subjects that I can talk about. Continue to be an audience. Continue to be your own kind of beacon. Continue to be both inspired by things and an inspiration to others, because we are always two sides of a coin. And if you don't see yourself as two sides of a coin, then you are not giving yourself credit for at least half of the wonderful things that you contribute to this planet. So, in closing, oh my Lord, Felton Heisch is here. Hi, Felton. It has been so many years. Um, in closing, you know the drill. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Keep social distance from each other. Um, know that I love you. Thanks for showing up today. And I will see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock right here. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you later.